Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Oh, this is actually quite an interesting one, because this is one of those instances where the left think the far left, I must stress this is the far left, the woke far left, who are as disgusting as the far right. They think they have a victory, when in actuality, they have exposed their own ignorance, their own stupidity, and because they see themselves as the good guys, however, they are far from it. Whenever they try to portray a villain, then they often attach what's the word I should use here? Traits to them, which actually make that villain relatable and understandable, and more of a hero than the hero that they write. I know that was a bit of a complex opening, but let's just get into this, shall we? Using Bounding into Comics again. This one done by Spencer Bakuli. Marvel Comics author Ta-Nehisi Coates compares Jordan Peterson to Red Skull in latest issue of Captain America. Now, as you would expect, because it's Twitter, they got all excited about this. Oh, the right. Because anything, by the way, that is right of the far left is Yahtzee. The right are having a meltdown because Ta-Nehisi Coates did this Red Skull 12 Rules on Life parody in his Captain America comic. The first funny thing is, all of these people who are celebrating it on Twitter, all these people who are pushing it, none of them are going to buy this comic. None of them have been buying this comic. It's all just words and virtue. The Captain America comic sells very poorly. Quelle surprise. But when you've got an absolute filthy pig like Ta-Nehisi Coates writing it, it's very easy to see why. Because characters like Captain America, of course, they are bastions of virtue which are to be looked up upon for young men particularly. Nothing wrong with young women as well. But for young men particularly to look up to and aspire to see his unwavering dedication, virtue, legitimate virtue, hard work, tenacity, morality. But when Ta-Nehisi Coates writes it, no, of course not. It's just going to be trash. It's going to be trash from somebody who in America's darkest hour said he looked upon it with cold eyes, who attacked first responders, who sacrificed themselves to selflessly save the lives of others, and many of them did, tragically. And when you have somebody that relishes this, you know you're dealing with scum. Utter, to the core of the human scum. Because that's who they are. But you see, with the virtuous far left, that sort of behavior in current day gets rewarded. And so you write some disgusting racist filth like Ta-Nehisi Coates does, and then the comics industry welcomes you with open arms, because that got infiltrated years ago and is now utterly destroyed by the filth it let in. And then they give him Captain America, this bastion of virtue. Warner Brothers and Jar Jar, no more white, what did he say? Comfort, says one of the richest men in Hollywood. No more white comfort, who's now taken over the DC, ongoing DC universe, goes and hires this piece of filth to write Superman. Superman, who is as American as apple pie. Superman, who is the ultimate hero. The ultimate person to look up to, is now in the hands of scum going forward. Whether or not he decides to do Clark Kent Superman, or whether or not he decides to do Earth 2 Superman, I think it is, it's utterly irrelevant. It will be full of Ta-Nehisi Coates' disgusting filth. And it certainly won't be getting any of my support. But that's what happens. The far left constantly reward you for your anti-American, anti-white, anti-male, straight white male language and rhetoric. So anywho, he does his Captain America comic, and he decides to essentially create Jordan Peterson within the comic. Excuse me. And then, of course, wrap around Red Skull. So this is Jordan Peterson. This isn't Red Skull. So this is Jordan Peterson's words, or he's parodying it, and then putting Red Skull around it, and not vice versa. So he's got 10 rules for life as opposed to Jordan Peterson's 12 rules for life. And then he's got some of them listed down the side here. Chaos and Order, Carl Luger's Genesis, The Feminist Trap. It's all looking, a little bit woe, of course. And then, of course, sad Captain America, who's consumed with white guilt, says, it's all the same for all of them. Young men, weak, looking for purpose. I found the flag. You found the badge. Weak young men. You fell into the police. I fell into the army. They found Red Skull. He tells them what they've always longed to hear, that they are secretly great, which is incredible, considering how much the far left has to reaffirm each other all the time. You're just amazeballs. She's amazing. She's the best at everything. Everyone loves her. Everyone tells them that they love her. She looks at herself and says, yes, I am amazing. So there's a massive amount of richness going on there, sunshine. That the whole world is against them. That if they are truly men, they'll fight back. I'm not seeing anything wrong with what you're trying to say. You're trying to play it as a negative, but what's the negativity of trying to find purpose? And bingo, that's their purpose. That's what they lived for, and that's what they'll die for. At least they'll die for something, which is unlike a lot of people. Let's just have a look at the 12 rules. Jordan Peterson's 12 rules, shall we? Number 1, stand up straight with your shoulders back. This is about having pride. Standing up straight with your shoulders back, it's that change of posture. It gets you out of that slump. It gets you out of looking at the ground. It gets you out of that negative body language. This is just trying to lose negative body language and replace it with more positive, confident body language. Treat yourself like you are someone you are responsible for helping. Look after yourself. Again, nothing. sound advice. Make friends with people who want the best for you. Yeah, you don't associate with people who bring you down. Don't befriend people who belittle you or use you. Befriend people who want the best for you, who are supportive, who are kind, who are there. This isn't negative stuff. Compare yourself with who you were yesterday, not with someone who someone else is today. Look at self-betterment. Look at who you were yesterday. How can I be better? How can I improve? Or what did I do right yesterday that I should be doing right today? Because if you look at yourself, you look at your own limits. When you look at someone else, they're not necessarily what you can achieve. And you can't take away what someone else has achieved. That's not yours. That's theirs. Own yourself. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Keep a strong bond with your family. Don't develop resentfulness inside of you. Positivity. This is all positive stuff, not negative stuff. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. That's a good one. That's a good one. You know, if you want to sling mud, are you perfect? Or as the Bible would say, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. There's a reason why, even if you're not religious, things like the Bible have still remained so popular, is because there is a lot of morality tales within the Bible, whether or not you are a religious person or not. And something like that is sound advice. If you want to start throwing stones, are you able to do so? Are you so virtuous? Are you so without sin? Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Something that you can truly invest in as opposed to something which is here and now and that you can quickly do. That's easy to do, potentially. Find meaning. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. I'm going to quote Judge Judy now. And Judge Judy said, and this is great. When you tell the truth, you don't have to think of the lies. Because when you lie, you have to compound them all together. One lie leads to another lie that leads to another and another. And before you know it, you've lost track of the lies. But if you tell the truth, you don't have to lie. And so you will always be able to have the same answer, the correct answer, because you're telling the truth. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something you're not. Something you don't. This is our friend Robert Meyer Burnett, who I'll be streaming with later tonight on his channel, Fully Articulated, 8 p.m. UK time, British summertime, remember. This is about, don't think you're above somebody. Don't think that you know it all. Go into a new experience with somebody believing that they have a story to tell. They know something that you potentially don't. Use it as a potential learning experience. Don't shut yourself off. Don't think you're better than people. Be a bit more humble. Be precise in your speech. When you're precise and you don't use word soup. We recently saw the Rewind Ripley article. This ridiculous article. It was just word soup. Word soup designed to confuse people. And more importantly, word soup that was designed for people who were scared to say, I don't know what on earth they're talking about. Because if you don't know what they're talking about, then it looks like you're stupid. No. The whole article was designed. That whole article was designed to confuse with graphs and charts and just vernacular that just all over the place. Be precise. When you're precise, like this list here, it's easy to understand. And when things are easy to understand, then you don't get confused by it. Do not bother children when they are skateboarding. Fair enough. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. I don't know. Maybe that's just referring to, just have a little bit of kindness. A little bit of kindness in you. But they are simple rules. He did do another 12, which I'll just quickly bash through. Do not carelessly denigrate social institutions or creative achievement. Again, don't think you're better than. Imagine who you could be and then aim single-mindedly on that. Have goals. Have aspirations. Do not hide unwanted things in the fog. Don't try and lose things. If you lose it, it's always going to be there and it's going to be preying on your mind. Try and deal with it. Notice that opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated. Do not do what you hate. Abandon ideology. Work as hard as possible, as hard as you possibly can on at least one thing and see what happens. Try to make one room in your home as beautiful as possible. Now, of course, Jordan B. Peterson is very famous for his clean your room phrase. And what he's saying is when you've got a clean room, you have a clean mind. It works in synergy. When you've got a cluttered room, you've got a cluttered mind. So when you clean it out, when you make it beautiful, it opens your mind, it empties your head, lowers the stress, allows you to think, allows you to breathe. If old memories still upset you, write them down carefully and completely. Address them. Don't ignore them. Address them. Plan and work diligently to maintain the romance in your relationship. Nothing wrong with that. Do not allow yourself to become resentful, deceitful, or arrogant. Traits, by the way, which drip from the far left. Be grateful in spite of your suffering. Does this sound like a Yahtzee? Does this sound like... Because that's what they're equating him to with Red Skull. This is a Nazi. Is that who he is? Is that what he sounds like to you? No. What is one of Jordan Peterson's crimes? I did a video earlier about Gina Carano. Thank you, Ice Cream Man. What is one of Jordan Peterson's crimes? Well, Jordan Peterson, number one, dared to speak to young men and to try and give them purpose in a world which is constantly shouting them down now. You just have to look upon social media. You just have to look at the films and the television which we now watch, where males are being pushed down. Star Trek Discovery being a perfect example. It's just a silly sci-fi show, but a perfect example of a show which shouts from the rooftops about inclusion and diversity, and yet pushes males out, particularly straight cis white males. We're so progressive, and yet we're massively intolerant at the same time. So does those things that I read out, do they sound like Peterson's Yahtzee? No. Another thing which was a crime for Jordan Peterson, he dared speak out against compelled speech. compelled speech where you're being forced to say something. You're being forced to do something in your speech. For example, in his case, it was about pronoun use. It was about pronoun use. But he stressed it very clearly that if he was speaking with somebody and it was a respectful conversation with them and he had respect for them, then he would use their pronouns. But being forced to use them, that is different. And as we know, there's a bunch of trans trenders all over social media. I want to be known as a this, that. In 3 years' time, they're going to be married, kids. It's all just a way to make people feel special, a snowflake. Look at me, I'm so different, I'm so unique. But again, to me, that just screams of people who have no purpose, who lack direction, who don't feel as if they belong, who are looking for something that they can latch onto and become a part of. And so the hilarious thing now is that people are now going around using Red Skull and putting down these really positive messages that Jordan Peterson has coming out of the mouth of Red Skull. Because that's the far left in a nutshell. They think they're the heroes, but they're the villains. And their villains are actually heroes. So Ta-Nehisi Coates can make this stab at Jordan Peterson, this horrible, disgusting, anti-American racist, can do that. And he can get all the virtuous back taps from people on Twitter. But his shit doesn't sell. No one cares. Normies don't care. They never will. And you've just shown how completely and utterly out of touch you truly, really are. There we go, folks. Hope you enjoyed the vid. I know that went on for a bit. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. And also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming links. They're in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.